Does it work? Woo! I asked him to fix it, so I'm gonna work maybe down. Okay, it's temperamental. Hello? Ba, 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 ba. Usually we're here, but I'm gonna have these guys sit up here because we're gonna be doing them. I would take this and sit the audience. I gotta find Jen. I'm here to sit to the audience. Now it's not working. Yes, contract. There you go. Now it's working. I need you to come in and turn this around. There we go. I'll get you the microphone. Okay. Well, the guy was up there, but now he's gone. Let me see Sean. Sean, I have a question. This thing is like bouncing off the charts.
Yeah, I don't know.
Coming everywhere. It's
I'm
crazy.
not quite sure which one to buy.
Okay, I don't wanna pierce everybody's ears. Testing. Test. No. Test. Testing. One. Hold it far distance away. Okay, that's okay. All right, thank you. Okay, so it is now 10 o'clock, so we'll get this thing. Oh, good. The majority of us are gonna be out there with you guys because this morning for the next hour, we have guests. And I'd like for them to be able to answer questions. And the young lady on the end, Lauren, is going to show you the new app and how to work that and put it on your phones. So in real time, you'll know what's going on. So before we get started, I know it's a couple minutes early, but I'd like to get this going for these guys. So if we could all stand, moment of silence, pledge allegiance. If everyone could please take off their hats and silence their cell phones, thank you. I'm gonna move this right along to them. I know that there's been some several difficulties in the community, and I know that people have wanted to know the comings and goings and what's happening. So I'm gonna put this over to these guys. I'm gonna let them introduce themselves, and they're gonna present or talk about whatever they are, and then they're gonna take questions from you guys. But I do know that there are some people in here that are having some difficulties with neighbors, and there's some mental health issues as well. So I'm hopeful that they can address those as well. So with that said, I'm gonna pass the mic down. Just make sure it stays a little ways away.
Hey everybody, I'm Lauren, Deputy Janasic. This is my boss man, so I gotta behave myself. So I'm here for you guys. So every first Wednesday of every month, we hold a crime watch. Purpose of a crime watch is basically, you guys are our eyes and ears. You guys live on private property, so, and we're not in here all the time. You guys live here. You guys see what is regular, what is irregular, suspicious incidences, something like me who doesn't live here isn't gonna recognize, right? So if you guys see something, our whole mantra of crime watch is see something, say something. So, and again, we're not deputizing anybody, we don't want you guys running into a burning building or God knows what, but just getting the mindset of, hey, look, that doesn't look right, maybe I should call the sheriff's office. I'm gonna keep myself at a safe distance and let dispatch know what's going on as it progresses. The app, you guys have questions about the app. So if you guys, smartphones, hopefully you guys have the app store. I just downloaded it this morning, so super easy. All you're gonna do is you're gonna type in Hernando County Sheriff's Office, that's it. And I think it's the second option. And it's a green with a gold star in the middle. You guys download that. So what that's gonna show you, and I'm gonna open mine right now. It's gonna show you this page right here when you open it up. Oh, hold on. This page, big old green page. Hernando County Sheriff. Yeah, it's an app. It's like a green background with the gold star. You found it? Okay. So it's gonna take a minute for it to download, but once you do, it's gonna look like this. Okay, I know it's small, but this middle one right here, that looks like a little telephone. It says active calls. Okay, so if I click on this, it's gonna show this screen, CAD. You wanna choose CAD live call. It's the top option, okay? This is gonna show you every single active call that we have, whether it be traffic related, medical related. Yep, active calls. You see it? It's got like a telephone, and then CAD activity. You guys seeing it? Okay, perfect. Yep, you're gonna hit active calls. So if you're looking at it right now, you see it's a fall back injuries. So that's gonna be a medical call. So that means the ambulance or fire rescue is going out to that. It's gonna show you the time and the zone. So the zone is what you guys want to pay attention to. If it's a medical call, that's 5-4. I'm not sure where 5-4 is. So I operate on law enforcement zones. So as far as fire rescue zones, I don't know which zone you guys are. I can find out, but is there a way we can find that out? What zone they're in for medical calls? Okay. For law enforcement calls, you guys are in zone 1-3. 1-3. So if you look at the forgery fraud one, that's just under the fallback injuries, you're gonna see it 3-1. So if you guys are looking for something that is close to your area, it's gonna be zone 1-3. Okay? So. Yep, so go ahead and click on just any call, forgery, fraud, whatever. That is all the information that it's gonna give you. It's not gonna give you much, honestly. It's gonna tell you date and time. It's gonna tell you the zone. It's gonna show you which agency is going out to it. So if it's a law enforcement call, it's gonna say HCSO. If it's a medical call, it's gonna say HCFR, Fernando County Fire Rescue. Okay. So that will at least give you a somewhat of an idea of what's going on. I don't know about you guys, but if I call 911 and I'm having a personal issue, I don't want somebody to be able to just look on the app and find out all my problems. I think you can all agree with that. I understand that you're concerned if you see a cop in your neighborhood or an ambulance, but at the end of the day, we have to respect their privacy, right? And I understand being concerned, I get that. But if there is a concern, you guys should follow our Facebook page, because if there's an active incident, they're gonna post that on Facebook and let you guys know, hey, stay away from this area, active scene, whatever. But again, I get a lot of phone calls because it's like, oh, what's happening on this road? What's happening on this road? Everything's okay, okay? And there's nothing wrong. If you say you know that neighbor that has the ambulance or the cop car out there or something like that, there's nothing wrong with going up to them later and being like, hey, are you okay? But that's just something that we're not going to be able to share with you guys because we have to protect their privacy, okay? And there's laws protecting them as well. So it's not like we're just being like, none of your business. There's actual laws protecting them and their privacy.
So that's only the most recent one that's there. I mean, there's only one there for everyone.
What do you mean? I'm sorry.
That's only the most recent one. I went under accident and there's one there. There's nothing else but that one. So it's like,
Okay, so you clicked on the accident one? So if you go back,
right,
that's
only
all.
one. So like if I click on animal complaint, there's only one. There's not 3 or 4.
No.
Okay,
So each
it's
call
only
is, yes. So if you see like there's an endangered animal call and then there's a dead animal call.
okay.
So this is all of our active calls at once. It's not going to show any past calls. It's not going to show you any history. This is actively what we're dealing with right now.
Right now.
Yep. Yeah, of course.
So I download this, if I see something, I'm gonna call 911.
Yeah, absolutely. So this is
I'm
just,
not gonna be like, how does that benefit me?
this is more for people that just want to know. Okay, this is not something that,
Hear you.
so she's asking like, how does this benefit me? How does this help you guys? This is not for us. This is for you guys to know, hey, I see a cop car in my neighborhood. I kind of want to know what's going on. Again, it's not going to give you much information. But,
Okay, I'm just,
Yeah, it's on.
okay. I'm Paula. I'm just trying to understand, so when I go to my neighbors who might be on vacation, to try to give them information, this is my first meeting such as this
Okay.
in this neighborhood. So I'm just trying to understand, if I go through the process of all this, what is it that you would like for us to do, maybe Kathy, are we supposed to report this internally in here or just call 911?
Like if you see something that's going on,
Uh-huh.
like
Like
something,
fires.
oh yeah, call 911.
Okay, I'm just afraid some people might just say, oh, I'm supposed to go on set, so I'm just trying to clarify
Okay, yeah,
exactly what that is.
I can clarify
Lauren,
that.
if you could speak to, what the protocol is. If you see something suspicious in the community,
Yes.
what's the protocol for the resident to do at that
Protocol
point?
for the resident, if you guys see something that's concerning, call 911, okay? If it's something like, oh, my neighbor left their garage open and that never happens, maybe not call 911, call our non-emergency number, but still call. I'm not telling you guys to call, the leader of y'all's group and then she call me, like, no. Yes, let's clarify that. If you see something bad, call 911. This app is strictly for information for you guys, okay?
Okay, and once they've called 911,
Yes,
they should stay away from it other than being on the app, correct?
yes. What I would do is I would just keep a safe distance. Dispatcher's gonna ask you guys questions. Like, okay, when was the last time you saw your neighbor? Like, say there's somebody breaking into a house. Do not go near that, okay? But dispatcher's gonna want you to keep somewhat of a close eye on it so they can ask you questions and go, okay, what are they wearing? White male, white female, black female. Just basic information, but from a distance. We never want you guys to put yourselves in a situation that puts you in danger, okay? That's our job, okay? Go ahead. You're 1-3 for sheriff's office calls. As far as medical calls, we're working on that. Go ahead.
I've had the app for several months.
Okay.
Can you touch on,
Speak into.
can you touch on crime mapping? I love the crime mapping.
Oh, yes. So if you guys come to our Crime Watch meetings, which is at 11 o'clock, every first Wednesday of the month, what I do is I actually use the crime mapping because that's what I'm allowed to share with you is crime mapping. Crime mapping. Okay, so you go to the main Hernando County Sheriff's Office website, okay? There is a drop down, I don't know exactly which one, but I think it's one of those drop downs in the middle and you click crime mapping.
Citizens resource.
Okay, citizens resources, and then you click crime mapping. And that will show you prior calls for service. Crime Watch, we meet once a month. So I always click the past 4 weeks, what's been going on the past 4 weeks. And that gives me an idea of what kind of issues that we're having in that specific area. So if I click the last 4 weeks and we've had 3 vehicle burglaries in Brookridge, that's something I'm gonna bring up in Crime Watch. Be like, hey, look out for your vehicles because we've had 3 people get their cars broken into. This most recent one, okay, go ahead.
The way that you can use it, actually, you can go in there and put your address in.
Okay.
And you can put that you want to know any crimes that happened within a 1 mile or a 2 mile radius of your address. I put 1 mile, I'm just interested in Brookridge. And then you can get updates every morning. They send you an update in email. This is what's been going on. So it just keeps you aware of your area.
See, I didn't even know that, so that's great. I only use it for just to give my Crime Watch updates, but if that's an option for you, that's awesome. And
The last, Chris taught everybody.
oh, they taught everybody how to do that? Oh, very cool. Okay, yeah, I don't know how to use it. Chris showed me how to use it a little bit, but if you guys have any other questions?
I called Hernando County
Mhm.
Sheriff. There's a drug house in the back
Okay,
on Rialto,
okay,
and, okay. And, they said, we'll see about it.
Okay.
They had a 1 drug overdose. UPS and FedEx makes delivery there every day.
oh, wow.
There's nobody living in a house. They put up the garbage out on Monday and Thursday,
Okay. When
so
did you call about that?
last week.
Last week, okay. And you said nobody's living there?
No.
Is it a vacant house?
No. What?
Okay.
I didn't hear you. They do. There's a lady living there
Okay,
in the house, homesteader. I'm guessing.
okay. So they might, it's only been a week, they might have an open case. Sometimes these things take
When
time.
I told him, I says, you came in and you hauled out a derelict that was dead. That was, a drug overdose. So what are you doing? You know,
Especially when it comes to drugs, these drug investigations take a lot of time because what they'll do is that information will get forwarded to our vice narcotics unit, and that could be a month-long investigation. Because what they'll
it's
do,
time sensitive now.
okay. Do you have the address?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll give it to you in a minute.
What I will tell you is this, everyone, and can everyone hear me? Is my mic okay?
All right, I hate microphones, I can't stand them. I don't like hearing the sound of my own voice, sorry. So I can tell you, there's an urgency for drug overdoses, but I think the common misconception is people can say, hey, there's drug dealers at this house, and we could just break in the door, haul everybody off and send them off to jail. I can tell you that drug overdoses, and I worked in major crimes and I worked in our homicide unit. These are very complex cases, and unfortunately, the rule books that the bad guys have outweigh the rule books that we have to play. So there's a lot of information we have to get. So what do you need to get into a house, right? You need probable cause. Probable cause gets you to a search warrant to get into the residence. And I think your assumptions are right on. I'm not questioning that in any way, shape, or form. But what I will tell you is if we write in a search warrant said there was a FedEx delivery to a house 3 days in a row, there's a package, the judge can be like, what else you got? That's not enough. Well,
Check the garbage.
Right. So hold on, stay with me. All right. These processes, if we check the garbage and we have one pool, well, let's say we get one baggie, that's great. The judge is going to say, give me a little more. We got a drug overdose. What's the toxicology on that drug overdose? We know it's an overdose, okay, but that person still has to go through an autopsy to confirm. Well, an autopsy takes a day, and then the toxicology results to find out what's in that system takes 6 to 8 weeks. And that's a full autopsy report that comes back. So you may think nothing's going on, but I can tell you behind the scenes, there's a lot. But there's certain reasons why we can only divulge so much information because that's being done in unison between two units, Vice Narcotics and our homicide unit. And they're working side by side to try and put a case. Because here's the deal. You get one chance to make a very successful case on something like that. And if you mess up, you don't get to go to the judge and be like, well, we'll come back and we'll do a better job the next time. No, that's it. You made your arrest and you didn't put a case together for the state, you lose that battle. And you don't get to go back to the drawing board and do it again. So they're very complex cases. They take a lot of time and effort. Trash pools, right? Surveillance on the house. Traffic stops on maybe people coming to and from the residence so we know who's going there. License plate readers. There's a numerous amount of resources that have to go to play like cases like this. Why? Because every time there's a national news media event where, cops bust in a house and there's a shooting, they add another rule that another hurdle we have to jump to get into houses like that. So again, you may not see something going on because you're looking squarely at the target house, right? But there may be things in motion that you're not aware of, and for understandable reasons. But again, that's why we like to have the crime watch groups, right? Because that's a call when we say, see something, say something. Sometimes there may be things you want to call right away on, and maybe there's other things that maybe we just want you to keep a journal for us. Hey, just so you know, the busiest time where traffic comes to this house is between 2 and 4 on a Thursday. I see a black Nissan Altima. I see a white Caravan, and they're making the stops. They're anywhere from this house for 15 to 20 minutes, and then they're gone. Beautiful. That's what our crime watch groups can do, so we can get the Vice and Narcotics and major cases and be like, hey, our eyes on the street in Brookridge is telling us this. And they may know a lot of times because they may say, we know we were in the area, right? But sometimes maybe they're like, well, that day we actually missed, so that's good information that you had that you were able to provide for us on that particular scenario. But it does. They are very complex cases. We get one shot to get it. Because here's the deal. If we get them, right, they're gone for life. We don't typically have to worry about that person anymore. But if they get out, well, then we have to wait for them to mess up again. And we don't want to do that because that means someone else is going to get hurt. So again, I know that was kind of long-winded. I hope I answered that to the best ability. But more likely, someone probably does have eyes on that. But we will definitely take that information. That's where, like I said, Crime Watch is very important for us because there's, 300 of us in the agency that are sworn, and there's just under 300,000 people in this county. So, for us to be eyes and ears everywhere, it's just not possible. So we need that help, and we value these partnerships because there has been times with community crime watch groups, they've helped us bust open some cases, and that's very awesome. And we look forward to that. So hopefully that answers your questions.
One of them.
Yep. I work till 7 tonight, so.
Okay,
you're out.
both houses are for sale.
Mhm.
And the real estate lady came in and showed the house full of needles. People walked out.
Mhm.
Okay? The lady across the street has a camera.
Right.
And I told the detective, or from the narcotics unit,
Yep.
I says, most of the activity is 3 in the morning.
Mhm.
Coming and going, it's like a friggin' bus stop.
Right.
They don't care.
Yeah.
You don't care.
To your assumption, right?
I'm telling you, I left my phone number.
Right.
Have somebody call me
Mhm.
and no, nothing.
Right. You can,
Nothing.
you can ask for a call back and you
I
can
did.
call. Okay.
I did.
And what I will tell you is, it's probably being looked into, but again, these are delicate information. We can only share so much information about these cases, right? Because, no disrespect, this is very sensitive information. I can tell you, I have limited information on what our vice and narcotics unit does. Why? I don't need to know. It's not my case. As long as I know they're involved and they're in the area, that's for them to work on. Because we can't, the men and women in this vice and narcotics units, they're going into some bad situations. And if they get tipped off, their lives are on the line. And they have families that they have to go home to, right? So any kind of misinformation sharing, so they call you and they say, hey, we're in the area and we're watching, and they take the risk of you coming to the meeting, not for ill intent by any stretch, but you say, hey, they're here. Well, that's a lot of people that have heard that information, and we don't maybe need to have that information, right? So typically, it'll happen, you'll be in your house on a Saturday morning, you'll hear 2 large bangs. Those are flash bangs that are going into a house. You'll see a team enter that house. You'll see a team exit that house. We will put out a post saying, we're in the area, all is well, everything's safe. Just let the state clear the area, and then that's how we do it. But like I said, I've worked 3 homicide-related cases to drugs. 2 cases took me about 6 months. The other took me 1 year and 3 months to put together. It's just very complex because there's 2 factors, right? There's people using in the house, and it's illegal to use drugs. But we need to find out who the players are, because the people in the house might just be your users or just a middleman. The big-time player might be out of state, and we're following up on that. So these people in the house, unfortunately, they're making very poor decisions for themselves, and if they overdose, that's terrible. And if we find out about it, we're going to try and do life-saving measures. At the end of the day, they made a conscious decision that this is an illegal narcotic. I'm going to ingest this, and I put my hands into a higher power, whatever happens, right? But that might not be your key player. That just might be the bottom ring of whatever this drug organization. Your key player, more times than not, is at a completely different location. Because, listen, drug dealers make probably triple my salary, okay? I have better benefits, but they make triple my salary. And they're actually smart individuals that use their intelligence for the completely wrong reasons. So wherever there's going to be activity, as long as they're not going to be there, they're going to be in the shadows. So where do we go? You get the head of the snake, right? Go to the shadows, you get the head of the snake, and if you eliminate that, that eliminates this, if that makes sense, right? So again, I understand your frustration, and actually I appreciate your awareness, because you see a lot more, and that would be fantastic information to receive from a crime watch.
And I told them that.
Yeah.
Okay, so,
We have a camera across the street.
Yeah.
Nobody's looking at the camera.
Right, but we might have been doing surveillance in that area for the last 2 months or 2 weeks. So we might, no offense, we might have better images. We might have, because the camera we have is high definition, has zoom capabilities. We have people in vans that might be doing this stuff. So that might be the reason. Like I said, I'm just telling you that from experience, that's all.
okay, so just let me make sure that people are aware.
Sure.
If they're keeping track of, and you have a problem in the area that you live in, you're keeping track of it, going to the crime watch meeting and
Yes.
making sure that you make sure they're aware and that Lauren is aware, that would be the best step to take.
I agree, yeah. If you have a suspicious house where you're like, man, there's just some weird traffic going in and out of there. I don't know what the cops could do about this necessarily right now, okay? You're right. There may be very little we could do at that point. We could go to the house and talk to people, but then you're kind of blowing up the operation. So if it's something where you feel the midline, like this just is weird, but it's not a call, get your phone out, get a journal out. Hey, today's date and time, I see this kind of vehicle. Make a note, bring that to the crime watch group. Lauren will take a look at it, and we'll facilitate that information to who it needs to go to. And that's probably the most effective for that particular situation, right? Because they don't know we're on to them, and we can find more stealthy ways to set up surveillance plans.
A lot of people in here think that you guys can't come in here and patrol because these are private streets. Can you clear that up?
So yeah, no, we absolutely can patrol. Now,
You come in here and patrol, you can do whatever you want. You
Right.
can stop, you could
So,
make a traffic
here-
stop. you can
now
do
the
all
traffic stops is different, right? So we can patrol areas. Now, traffic, that is something you have with your HOA, and that's why you have traffic enforcement there. So now if we see a reckless driver or an obvious DUI situation, yeah, because why? We have a life-saving measure at that point. So
If you see
we,
something obvious, you're gonna pull them over.
yeah, exactly. If they're driving in the wrong way, lane,
Yeah.
we'll take care of that.
I did that, actually.
Yeah.
I had somebody driving the wrong side of the road.
Yeah.
and I told them to
Yeah,
move.
we had someone, yeah, exactly. We
People
only-
literally think you can't come in here and patrol, but you do.
No, absolutely. Yeah, no. It says Hernando County, which means all Hernando County. Now, there may be,
Jurisdiction in here.
right, so, and we like to be in here, and we hope that you all like to have us in here and understand that if you see cars, it's not like, oh my gosh, is this East Compton, LA in here? Why are there cops? No, just because we like to be involved in our communities, and we like, listen, what's the best deterrence is presence, right? If we're in here, right, especially now we got summer coming up, right? What's gonna happen in summer? Every child is now gonna be bored to death and look to go outside, and some of those children are gonna they're gonna make rational decisions to go play basketball and tennis, and then the others are gonna say, let's go get into some mischief, right? And that's where we really want to be active, is to deter those kids if they think they want to have a fun night in Brookridge, and that's happened many years ago. Well, we have had cases where kids want to go on a summer rant, try and find snowbird homes and go in there and help themselves to a few burglaries. You know, we want to be present so we can deter that kind of action. So, but yes, to answer your question, we absolutely can come in, we can control at any time. We try not to be overbearing. We try and find a sweet spot, because at the end of the day, you all just want to be home and be comfortable and not be bombarded by us. I don't get offended by that at all. But if you see us sweep through the area a few times, it's not because, well, who can we make miserable today? Not at all. We're just trying to be present, be in the community, especially Lauren, if you see us, say hi, stop by. Hey, what's going on? How's everything going? That's what it's all about, so.
But the biggest thing that I want everybody to take away from here is that the best way to handle any situation, after you called 911, stay out of it. After you called a non-emergency, probably not a good idea to expect a call back. Go to the Crime Watch meeting, talk with Lauren, talk with Derek, meet these people and see what you can do to be able to protect yourself in your home.
And if you guys call 911 or non-emergency, tell the dispatcher, like, hey, my name is Ronald, this is my phone number. Once the deputy goes out there and handles whatever, checks out whatever I called about, have them give me a call. They will call you back. As soon as they're done with the call, they will call you back, all right? And if you don't receive a call back from them, maybe they had to run to a different call back again, be like, hey, I'm Ronald. They never call me back. And what they'll do is they'll shoot that deputy a message and be like, hey, Ronald just called back in, he wants you to call him, and they will do it. So when you're calling that suspicious person in or whatever, let them know, hey, give me a call back. So.
I have 3 items, Alice. Hope I remember them. First, that traffic situation, speeding is up to code enforcement here. We would have to pay extra to have you deputies in here to deal with that particular issue. But if you happen to be in here surveilling and you see a speedster going by, would you stop that person?
Yeah.
Okay.
You just said if it's unsafe, they would-
Yeah, I mean, if
Right.
it's unsafe, like I
Right,
was
but you
saying,
know what, if it goes 2 or 3 miles over the speed limit,
yeah,
they still get tagged by our people, but not you people.
yeah. So I mean,
It's a difference.
again, so same thing like if I go to a Walmart parking lot and there's somebody speeding through the parking lot. Technically, that parking lot is private property. However, if they're speeding through the parking lot and there's people trying to get their stuff in their cars, get their kids in their car seats, that's unsafe. And at that point, I have a duty to act, correct?
Okay, it's because I do realize that people get stopped for speeding on the outside
Mhm.
for a certain amount over the speed limit.
Yeah.
And here it's a little different,
Yeah,
and that's all I want to say about that.
yeah.
As for the drug, okay, you can add on later. As for the needles in the house and somebody said, hey, I'm not going there, that might be just a rumor, I don't know.
Yeah.
But, okay, what I'm saying is, if they hear about that, the county hears about that, could they consider going in as if they're going to look at a house to see if something's in there that could be called?
I would advise against it.
No, I just wondered.
Strongly.
I just wondered if that was one of the things.
Well,
you
here's the
could do.
issue is, this is a vacant house, as far as I'm understanding. We don't know who technically owns this building, right?
So, but if you're going in there as if you want to purchase a house.
We want, so it sounds like either the bank owns it or a realtor has custody of it. If any random person walks in there, that's technically breaking and entering.
No, I'm
Because-
talking about going with the realtor.
Oh, with the realtor?
Right.
Oh, yeah, I mean, if the realtor is trying to show the house, then that is,
New
it is what
people
it
can
is.
kind of go in there and take a look, but
Talk
maybe
about-
she's already cleaned that area up, so.
Okay, I'm kind of confused. Yeah, like, with the realtor, probably not.
That's violating a constitutional right.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm just checking, I'm just asking.
Citizens have rights, and we have to abide by some of them, because that,
No, but I meant it would be you going in as if you wanted to
I
buy.
love that strategy.
Yes,
but I-
absolutely.
But you would not do it.
No way.
Okay,
I definitely like the strategy.
to put a positive spin on this, I know, I've heard about it, but maybe you can convince people and myself. How much positive stuff have you done about curtailing drug activity in this Brookridge area?
Brookridge?
So I can tell you as far as compared to the rest of the county, Brookridge is probably one of the safest places in the whole county. And that's thanks to you. Now, listen, can we eliminate drugs in the county 100% from everything? No, we can't, because it's an epidemic, right? And there's some things that, if there's a house where people smoke weed or do their own heroin or whatever, they're not drug dealers, they're drug users, right? So as far as what's the difference between someone that's just using and what's a dealer, well, that's what we do the investigations for. So did we make any big bust of kingpin drug dealers in Brookridge? No, because there was no kingpin drug dealers in Brookridge. There's drug users, and there might be some small-time dealers that are trying to make their way up the ranks. And like I said, that's controlled through investigations, right? So as far as Brookridge compared to South Brooksville, Ridge Manor, Fernando Beach, Talisman Estates, you're in great shape, okay? Because they're, listen, I won't disclose where, with my neighborhood, I had the same issue. I had a person, just like kind of he was explaining, I'm like, this guy's never around. He put up a privacy fence, and all of a sudden he's got a lot of electrical cords going to his house. And he lives next to me, and I'm like, so it was a drug dealer. He was operating, weed. He didn't happen. He always missed my car because he would come in at nights to check in when I was working off. But like I said, those issues are there. When we're there, we deal with them. So, and I can say our vice and narcotics team, like I said, they work in the shadows. You're not going to see vice say, hey, we're actively patrolling Brookridge today. That's going to be a hindrance to an investigation. If they're doing that, hey, we're going to be in the black car. If anybody wants to see us, we're going to be doing fake drug deals. Just wave and we'll be fine. Whatever. No, they're not going to do that. They're going to work. Like I said, I couldn't even tell you what areas they hit, and that's effective, because now if they tell me, they'll send clues like, hey, Sergeant Atkins, maybe don't tell your people to drive down Brookridge Boulevard today. We kind of don't want presence. That's all I need to know, because I know they're working something and they don't need me deterring anything from a particular area, right? So, one time we did a bike ride in South Brooksville. They're like, hey, can you maybe not do that today? I don't need to know any other information. Okay, you clearly have people that you want to be there, and you do not want me to chase those people off because you need that for your investigation. Absolutely, we'll find plenty of other places to ride today. So Fernando Beach sounds like a good day anyway, so off Fernando Beach, so.
Okay, so I have another question for you guys, because a lot of people in here are dealing with a neighbor that may have some difficulties, mental difficulties, whatever. It doesn't matter. They're creating a dangerous situation. They have called the sheriff's department. They're working all of the different steps that they need to work. Where is their saving grace being in this community supposedly safe and having somebody do unsafe things to the people that are in the neighborhood? What is their recourse with you guys?
So if we're talking about mental health issues, right? Anybody familiar, we have a mental health unit in Fernando County? Okay. We're about a year into the program. I have 4 mental health deputies in our unit, okay? We got those deputies off of a grant to the Department of Justice. So their sole responsibilities are going for mental health related calls for service. Okay. Now, this is a brand new program that's never been put into effect before. And now law enforcement agencies nationwide are starting to implement these things. So the first year of this program is, what does this thing look like, right? Because if I get a criminal case and I assign it to the deputy, then they're going to say, I either have enough evidence to prove that a crime committed, I'm going to arrest the person, take him to jail, or I don't have enough evidence, right? It's very black and white. Well, what does a mental health case look like? That's a completely different animal, right? Because there's various forms of mental illness, okay? And it comes in all forms, right? Veterans, PTSD issues. We have a large amount of veterans in Hernando County that are struggling with PTSD issues. That's a lot different than a sex assault victim that might have been molested by their parents. That's two different avenues and two different types of scenarios that they're dealing with. That's different than the person that suffered a work accident and maybe ended up transient and not getting care. Now they're having mental health. Those are three very different scenarios. So over the last year, we have been forming partnerships with various organizations, right? We have Springbrook Hospital, which is right across the road there. We have Baycare. We have what we call NAMI, which is National Alliance for Mental Illness. They're over in Spring Hill off the 19. The Veterans Heat Factory, Veterans Affairs. We got with all these programs to find out, what do you offer if we have this particular issue with an individual? What services can we get to them? That took a lot of time to put into place. But now we finally structured these things, right? So if we find people that have a certain form of mental illness, we can try and reach out. Now here's the battle, right? So let's say we have, mental illness, and I'm sure it's in this community because it's everywhere you go. All right, and mental illness is the thing that we missed the ball on early in life, and now we're trying to play catch up to it. And it's a big issue, okay? Because there's people out there that are suffering right now, and that capacity far outweighs 4 deputies that I have to handle those issues. But nonetheless, we're going to do the best we can. So let's say we go to a call for service here in Brookridge, we're going to try and make contact with that individual. First phase step in that is, this isn't a criminal act. These people don't need to necessarily, now if they're immediate, let's just back up. They're immediate threat to the community, right? And they're going to harm themselves. We are absolutely going to put them in protective custody, and we're going to take them to a treatment facility to be bake wrapped. Okay, I don't know if everyone's familiar with the bake wrap process. Okay, that will happen. But the problem is, what we've historically done is that's only been the solution. We bake wrap people, they go to Springbrook for 3 days, they come back, we bake wrap them 2 weeks later, and it's just that revolving door. Okay, and that's when we realized that is not working, that is not effective. These people aren't getting help. They're getting babysat for 3 days until a doctor decides we're getting 9 more of them. This guy's not as most likely to kill himself, was pushing him out the door so we can get these other 3 in. No fault of anybody, just because nobody was given the resources to work this program. So now we have the ability to work these as cases. So let's go back to the scenario. We meet someone and say they're not an immediate threat, but they're having hallucinations, they're having maybe a health crisis, and they're displaying a little bit of erratic behavior. We have to develop that rapport building process with them first. Okay, they have to trust us, because for the last decades, when we've showed up to their doorstep, we just haul them away in a cop car and throw them in a facility. Okay, so we have to get over that speed bump to let them know that that's not the way we're trying to do business. We're trying to actually help you get to the root of your problem. What form of crisis are they in, right? Are they just not hearing us at all because they're suffering from hallucinations and people telling them not to trust us, or are they in the low stage? We have to determine that. Once we can try and get that rapport building, then we can try and introduce treatment programs for them. Hey, you might want to consider Baycare. We can facilitate to give you a ride to Baycare once a week, so you can meet with a clinician and they can help you with these hallucinations or something you're having, right? And once they can trust us and we can start getting through this treatment, then you start seeing improvements, right? Last year, in 2023, we had 1,043 bake racks in the county. Okay, we implemented this program, and in a year's time, we went down to 841. So it's working. Okay, it's got a long way to go. It is absolutely working. And people that we used to have hundreds of calls for service at their house in a year, 0. Why? Because we invested time in them. They were open to our treatment. We got them there. Now, if we show up and they say, get off my property, I don't want to talk to you, and they're hallucinating, but they're not in a risk to themselves, or it's tough, because there's only really so much we can do. We can try and keep an eye on it and try and keep following up with them to keep that, and that's sometimes how these cases work. Sometimes these cases, and Lauren was in this unit too, this takes like 6 months process. It's not a quick fix. You know, these people have been neglected for certain amounts of time, and they have a lot of trauma and a lot of issues that they have to work through. So it's not like we just show up, we take them away from their house, they're in Springbrook and they're a new person. No, it's, sometimes that process takes a couple weeks, sometimes it takes 6 months, if not longer. So what we'll do, I'll give you an example. Let's say we'll get them in a treatment program. They'll go to that treatment program for 4 months. My deputies will still go on a weekly basis and take 15, 20 minutes, even if it's just sitting in their living room, having a cup of coffee with them. Because sometimes that's all they want. They just want someone to talk to, you know, and understand and validate, yes, you're okay to have the hallucinations. These are valid. We're going to help you work through them so you don't get into that really heightened state of crisis, and now you're barricaded and you're having hallucinations and things like that. So yes, we definitely recognize the problem. If there are problems here, you can let them know. Now here's the deal. I have 4 deputies. They cannot account for every hour of the day. So there are times when my mental health deputies are not on the road. I can tell you that their typical hours, I have 4 total. 2 work on one shift and 2 work on the other squad. So they typically work, the first one comes in from 8 in the morning to 8 at night. The second one comes in from 12 in the afternoon to 12 at midnight. Okay, so that's the best times to try and get them. Now, if there's 7 or 8 mental health calls in the county at a given time, which a lot of people are like, it's impossible. No, 60% of our calls are probably mental health related in some form or fashion. Okay, so the person might be Baker acted by a deputy that's not mental health. However, that case comes to me and I will assign it to a mental health deputy for follow-up. I'd love to tell you that that's a quick fix and that, you know, we can take care of mental health problems in Brookridge in a couple weeks. That's just not realistic, and I don't want to set expectations. Now, what I will tell you is we will make every effort to address people with mental illness in here and see if we can get them on these treatment programs to help them out. Okay, so that is something we like anything else, call us, and I know people may have called and been like, we called, nothing happened. It might be 2 or 3 times before these people open up to us. So it just takes time. It's a very big trust building issue we have to hit. The good news is the 4 that are in the unit, their names are getting out there, they're familiar faces now. And what I can tell you is if you want, I know we have the Crime Watch meetings. I'd like to have them start showing crime, just introduce themselves. Hey, you know, they're 4 amazing people, because you have to have patience of a saint to sit there and say, I know you see the purple dinosaur tap dancing in that corner right there. You have to turn and say, I don't see it, but I believe you see it. Let's work together to get you through this. Or, you know, the FBI is telling me right now that you're coming to take me away. You know, they tell me not to trust you. We have to spend time to talk to them. And that's all they do all day. For 12 hours, they talk to people in various forms of crisis, you know? So to the point where I have to make sure they're okay after a few months. Hey, are you guys doing okay? You know, you don't need anything from me, you know, because you talk with crisis all day long, you know. But so, like I said, I know that was a long-winded answer, but again, that's just kind of the reality of what we're dealing with. It's being addressed, and I'm hoping to expand this program because there's absolutely a need for it. I could write it up and justify it, but unfortunately, from a budget standpoint, you know, manpower is going to be a little limited on how much more we can get. But I'm hoping I can find more grants. We can get more people in this program and just keep growing it, because you can give me 4 more deputies in this unit today, and I will keep them very busy. They have a case assignment, just to give you an idea. Each one of my mental health deputies has a case assignment of 10 to 15 assignments a day. And you're like, what does that mean? That's 10 to 15 individuals that they're going to go check on, in addition to taking calls for service on new people that are going to be experiencing crisis. So.
Okay, so again, make the call to you, non-emergency, and then follow up with the Crime Watch, anything that you have written out. And then Lauren can make sure that it goes wherever it needs to go.
Yep.
Okay, here, thank you.
Absolutely.
I have a question. Do you have a therapy dog program?
Lauren is a very big fan of the therapy dog, and that is.
Well, I have a retired therapy dog. I'm from Lee County, Florida, and I used to work with mental health patients with my Boston Terrier Max, which a lot of people don't hear. So I just was curious.
I'm trying my best to get our unit a therapy dog, so hopefully that's on the work.
Oh, well, I'll introduce you to Max one day.
I can't see that being an option for us in the future, just, we have an electronic dog, we have canine dogs, so we're just gotta make sure that, yeah. Just for context, I'm sharing an office with 4 other people now, so, now we had a dog, and it's just a space
Well, we
thing.
work with the Children Advocacy Center.
Oh, that's a great organization.
There's people like that, or we
Yep.
went to nursing homes, or we actually went to behavioral,
Yeah.
adults and children, so I just wanted to throw that out.
No, we appreciate it. Absolutely.
Any other questions? Concerns? Very good. Did everybody introduce themselves first off? I thought I bypassed that altogether.
Just in case, Dustin Atkins, I'm the sergeant over our community policing unit, so that's broken into 2 divisions. Our community outreach team, which is Lauren, and I have 6 other deputies on that, and then I have our mental health unit, which has got 4 deputies, so those are the 2 units I concentrate on.
Yep, I'm Lauren.
My last name is Janasic, but a lot of people can't pronounce that, so I'm just Lauren.
And you are,
I am in charge of Brookridge's Crime Watch. Well, I wouldn't say in charge of, he's in charge of it, but I assist him with our Crime Watch. Try to give him as much information as possible. Just, again, like I said earlier, common crimes that are going on in the area. Like I said, if there's a string of vehicle burglaries, that's something that I want to share with my Crime Watch so that they can keep an eye out for it, right? I'm also in charge of I help with Royal Highlands Crime Watch as well. I run the Explorer program. I also run the Nature Coast Film Company program. I got my hands full, so, yeah.
Good morning. My name is Derek Hudson. I'm in charge of the Crime Watch unit here, and we invite everyone to come out because we have a lot of information to share every month, and we'll put on seminars like this. Last month we did on house safety, how to procure your property and make sure that it's safe. So there's a lot going on, and there's a lot that we want to do, but you're all welcome. In 15 minutes. The first Wednesday of every month.
I have a question about that.
Actually, I brought this up on Facebook, and I think you and I went back and forth a couple of times. I didn't know there was a crime watch in the area, and I was inquiring about it, and you came in and was telling me about it, but the Wednesday at 11 o'clock was kind of like conflicting with this meeting. Is there any way that we can incorporate?
It is, and I don't know how permanent this meeting is. If this is going to be your time for a capital for a meeting every month, we will discuss, but it's on my agenda.
Excellent, because I'd love to have everybody coming to it and working with you on it, but it's just kind of hard with this going on at the same time.
I understand that you didn't start your town meeting until a couple weeks after I was
Okay. Well, thank you.
So we're a work in progress. I look forward to getting together, anything that we can do. So any other questions? Everybody else set?
yeah, I talk loud. I'm sure you can, but they can't hear you on YouTube. So that's the issue.
All right, we have a guard shack. When I first moved in here, I read it somewhere that at 10 o'clock, if you're having guests coming in after 10 p.m., you're supposed to call the guard shack. Now, that young man over there said that at 3 a.m., they were having in and going amongst a lot of activities. If they're at the guard shack and the guard shack sees cars coming in at 3 o'clock in the morning, why aren't they calling 911 or something like that?
Well, first off, it's not a guard shack, it's a gatehouse. We don't have security in here, and their position is to take their name, a driver's license, if they think that they need to have that, their ability to do anything at the gatehouse. If they see an emergency, like what took place when there was that accident out front, they were one of the people that called 911. but they call 911 when they get a phone call up there at night that says X, Y, and Z is going on. Other than that, they don't know. If someone comes in, they have the proper identification, they go into the right house, they're on the listing, that's what they do. That's all they do. You know, it's not a guardhouse. We don't have security. They are a gatehouse and they are a gatehouse attendant. That's the difficulty. There's a line. So, you have a question?
We have gate security. You have to give everybody that comes into your house, you have to give them your name, the address, and the people that you're gonna see.
Correct.
Okay. So at 3 o'clock in the morning, if I'm getting a guest at 3 o'clock in the morning, I'm gonna make sure I call the guard shack or security. So why are we having that security? Because now I don't feel safe. I really don't, because with the construction that's been going on out there, and then the guard shack or guard security, whatever you want to call it, you didn't know who's coming in, who's going out, because the gates were open. So why are we having all this stopping and going? The gates are open. Nobody knows who's going in or coming out. Why are we having all this commotion with guard shack and doing all the, oh, I gotta make sure this person is on my list, because if they aren't on my list, they can't come in, or they have to call me. Because I had to call one time because we were having somebody coming in and we were on the road and they weren't on the list. So I called and I made sure that they knew that I was having somebody coming in. But what can we do so that we can feel more safe? Because that guard shack, guard security, whatever you want to call it, to me is not safe anymore.
Well, it did happen a few times where we showed guests on our list that they were just thrown on our list. They just used our name.
Yeah.
And that's not right, because if they get ticketed, what happens? It's my name.
This is true. So, I think the best thing to do, those of you that have gates entry, which I'm sure that anybody that has any access to, okay. If you have gates entry, you should be going into your gates entry all the time, well, not all the time, but go in there weekly, monthly, whatever you want to do. Make sure that you update the people that are on the listing. Sometimes somebody will come in once, you let them in, and it doesn't wind up getting taken off there that night before the next day. That has been a problem, and they're working on that. But I can tell you that the gatehouse's responsibility, name, where you're going, they take a copy of, they take a picture of your license plate, they make sure that everything is all set in gates entry. If it's not, so if you have a homeowner here that is no longer here and they're selling their home, if these people were all on their listing while they were here, they're still welcome to come in here if they give the address, their name, and it shows up on their gates entry thing. And that's probably until they sell the house. Once they sell the house, all of that will come off. But if they're already on there, there's nothing that we can do about stopping them. As far as the gates are concerned, the incoming has been working just fine, to my knowledge, since they fixed the one that was hit, since the poles had been fixed and lined up correctly. I believe that stopped and eliminated that problem. And I know the visitors gate has been working well now that things are adjusted since the changes took place. I do know on the exterior, when you're leaving, one of them is working, the other one is not, because it's not even there. I know that they took it off, they're replacing parts that are in the elbow or what have you. So I do know that the outgoing, there's one gate missing, the other gate goes down at 7 o'clock at night. That's all I can tell you about the outgoing. I haven't gotten an updated report on what's happening with that, so. I mean, do we have any other questions for these guys? I'd like to be able to cut him loose because he has a meeting in like 5 minutes. Everybody all good? Thank you very much for coming in, everybody.
Hey, really quick, thank you guys. Really quick, I got an answer for the fire rescue zone. You guys are zone 11. 11. 1-3 is for law enforcement and zone 11 for fire rescue, okay?
Thank you so much for coming, guys. I appreciate that.
Okay, so onward we go. I don't know why but that's, I guess. Let me see. Okay, so I do have an update. Let me stand up because I feel like the people in the back can't see anything. I do have an update. I want everybody, if you see Sean, don't stop these guys from working because they're working nonstop when they're here. Sean, over here, has access to, and just told me that he's ordered the new gate that is going outside, people that are going out. It was hit, broken in half. They tried to scotch tape it back together. I'm just repeating what I was told. They tried to scotch tape it back together.
Well, duct tape, scotch tape.
Well, whatever it was. So anyway, so I guess this fell off, and in order, you can't fix it, you had to order the whole new.
Yep.
So he has ordered that, so apparently we're getting a brand new one for that side for the visitors to leave, so we'll be all set whenever that comes
Yeah,
in.
should be
He
here.
says
by
that he can put it in, so that would be a good thing.
Yep.
Who? Are you licensed in New Jersey?
Yes. Yes, I have my own business. I'm an LLC and I have license in insurance.
What do you say?
He said yes.
Nancy LaChera, Unit 1. I have a question about the gate. Once it gets put up, when I moved in here about 5 years ago, all 4 gates were closed all day, 24 hours. Why can we not go back to this? Why can we not have the gates closed 24 hours, 7 days a week like it used to be? Because there's a lot of people coming in on the wrong side that should not be coming in. So why can we not put this back in place? That's why we moved in here, because it was gated 24 hours, and now it's not. Did you check into that? And maybe we can get it back up going, you know, because I think it's more secure. I mean, we are gated, we should be gated, and that's all there is. Yeah, the gated.
Do you have evidence that cars are coming in the out gates?
I do have a report of one person that came in the out, and it was because they didn't have they had borrowed someone's vehicle, they didn't have their, whatever, I don't even know. The explanation was long and exhausting. But at any rate, I will look into that. The thing is that during the day, everybody agreed they'd be up from 7 to 7 because people that are leaving, they've already come in, they've given us all of their information, and now they're trying to get out. So it saves us from having to replace those gates by them getting broken on that side. However, I am looking at putting a walking path over on that side, a bike path. That way people will be able to get in and out of there safely and not come over and into other people's properties. Okay, hang on a minute. I think we're gonna go back to, let's come up to the podium because I can't walk around and I'm still having a few hip issues. So I'd really appreciate it if people would come up to the podium and stand over there so that we can take you guys, any questions or concerns that you have. Thank you.
You want my unit?
Yes,
And all that?
please.
No, wait.
Are you
One.
on? With the volume down? It's reading? Okay, try it again.
Okay. There, better?
Nope.
Nope, I can hear it.
Hello?
There, that's much louder. It's Melody, Unit 1. Thanks, Trudy. I can remember. I will say just real quick on that comment, when I was sold my house a year ago, the billing part of it was, it is a gated community. That was a big billing issue, and that was a big selling point for me. If you're gonna keep the gates up, it's no longer a gated community. It's pretty black and white to me. That's black and white. My question this is gonna echo. My question is, we have trucks in here all the time doing construction. I walk and I run all the time, and I'm constantly picking up nails and screws and bolts on the road. I've already had 2 flat tires in here. Why are they not tarping their trucks? I'm saving a lot of you flat tires by picking them up as I see them, but I've replaced 2 tires in 1 year. Our maintenance people that are in here working, those are private individuals, and those that work for our community need to be tarping their trucks. Okay.
Hello, Tessa.
Nancy LaSharon, Unit 1. To go back to the gate, when we moved in here, all 4 of those things stayed down 24 hours, okay? Also, the walk-in gate was locked, and they had to be opened by the guard people. So why can we not go back to that? That's all I want to know is why can we not go back to what we used to have?
Well, I know that there's been a lot of construction up front, and I also know that they're working on, and we're looking into that gate.
Yeah.
Correct? We're looking into the walking gate so that they
The
can
walking gate's
lock
gonna
that.
be fixed within the month.
Okay.
And it's actually gonna motorize it even. It's gonna have an operator on it, so people that are handicapped don't have to hold the gate open. It's gonna open up for them
Okay.
and everything. And we'll have a key fob to it. It's all being worked on.
So are we gonna get the 4 gates for the cars to be going up and down 24 hours?
You know, a couple of things with that. First of all, I believe that it was voted on by everybody, they stay open from 7 to 7, so we'll have to look back at that and see.
I
The
think
other
it's
thing is
7 to 5.
I think it was 7 to 7.
7 to 5.
Well.
Oh, whatever.
I'm gonna look it up and find out what we need to know. But I believe that that's open on that side. I also know that the walking gate and trying to put one in on the other side.
We talked about that.
Use the other side. So we can look into all of that.
Okay, thank you.
Hi, my name is Janice Quinn, Unit 4. About the gate should be down, but I want to know if we have reserve gates, because this is a weekly event, so ordering one nut and bolt at a time doesn't work.
Yeah, right now, as far as I know, what I see, they have all beat up ones that are broken from before.
As you can tell, we're having difficulties with the microphone.
Oh, okay. It's not in our security budget, but
Thank you. All right, from what I know right now, all the arms and stuff are all busted up. The operators are fine. The arms are what everybody keeps hitting and breaking.
okay, so how many do we have in stock?
Right now, we have busted up ones, about 6, that are probably totally useless, that should have been thrown away a long time ago.
Point.
Okay, so I'm ordering one now. We can order a second or a third, just have them in stock.
Well, we have 4 gates, so
Right, and the worst part about that is, for some odd reason, every time a new operator or an operator went down and got broke, they didn't decide to go with the same operator, they decided to go with a different type of operator. So we actually have three different styles of gate operators out there. We have one that's a back, one that's a lift faster, and one that's like a magnetech. So they all take their own different arms, they all take, different equipment. So like if we had to sit there and buy arms and backups for every single one of them, you're talking a lot of money.
I don't know how much money we're talking about. The fact is that the gate.
The arm probably costs about
I don't
$600.
need to know.
Oh,
What I'm
okay.
saying is, it doesn't matter what it costs at this point. We have a gated community with no gates 90% of the time.
Yep.
So pick a gate, a manufacturer,
Yep.
put 2 in stock on each side and be done with this.
I agree with you
happy horse
100%.
Because every single meeting is about the gates up, the gates down. And the other problem is, why would we have a stop sign? Half the people stop when the gate's up. There was a whole thing about, if there's a stop sign, I stop, blah, blah, blah. Well, of course you do. But when you go through the gate and the gate's open, technically you're supposed to stop at the stop sign. The stop sign is there so that when the gate is down, which is never, ever usually down, it's always broken, to make you stop, not to go through the gate, like as in drive through the gate. So it's redundant. If you just get some gates, it shouldn't be rocket science to unscrew and put another one on if we have it in stock. It happens like on a monthly basis.
Oh, good question, good question. Yeah, so we have at least, we'll probably order one for right now, just to get the one fixed. The other one that's on the other side.
Change starts now, order 2.
Yeah, well, I got a Lip Master I gotta fix, that's what that one is. The other one on the other side is a fact. So we'll get the other ones ordered as well. And we'll have a backup to them. They do have a rack there on the side. Like I said, all the ones that are there are all busted up anyway. And we'll get a stock of them, even if we got to keep it down in the annex or something like that. And good question, and I agree with you 100%. We should have backup, so in the moment something happens, we were able to put another one right on there and work there.
Well,
Yes,
I want everybody to know that we are trying to get to one of everything. One gate, one, right?
well, it'd be nice if we were just using one
Consolidate.
style operator, yeah. I mean, I agree, but operators aren't cheap, and I know the fact we just bought last year, I mean, you're talking like a few $1,000s for these operators. And for us to go out and replace, let's say we go with Lip Master. I mean, I like high security better, but let's say we go with Lip Master's good. We already have one of those. We'd have to replace the other 3 with Lip Masters. We're talking about $10,000. Okay? That's because we're close.
We don't know what's.
It's because we're close to.
We're looking at microphones in order to be able to order them. I apologize, but this makes the 3rd meeting we've had difficulties with it.
Right, and as far as the ped gate goes, I'm working on getting that fixed too, so we're gonna have the ped gate all fixed. We're also working at getting an access system put on here. So that way it will register more cars and stuff coming in and out, which will probably help keep the gates down like you want during the day. Okay, whatever, or other people want down during the day. So all this is happening within the next, I would say, 3 to 4 weeks. So check back.
And can you, Sean?
Yeah.
Can you turn the heat back down on these?
I'll try to check
They're all
that, yeah.
going on. Thank you. I don't know who's that. See this? I'm not sure why they're off. Mine's on, Sean, but it's not working. It's P1. Yeah. No, it's not working at all. Okay.
Can you hear me?
Oh,
Yeah, now I got it.
yeah, thank you.
Beverly, I'm signing Unit 6 on a completely unrelated subject. I understand that we charge this now, and I can understand why special events being held in the hall. I do question being charged to use the pavilion. If you would consider, I don't know how many of you were here when the pavilion was built, but it was built by contributions from our residents. And I think it's a little unfair that they be charged to use it even for special events. Looking into the.
Nope. I'm not working on either one. Okay. No, I just want to make sure that people get that. We are.
Like microphones, we're working on everything. You saw that whole case from over there? Now we're finding out that they don't go with sound system. Just like the gates, we have 3 separate gates
we're trying to condense that. That's what we're working with. So please bear with us. The microphones are, not good. So anyway, next. That's what we're working on. We're working on the different prices because the price point for people that are outside of the park pay a different price than the people inside, but right now it's like a price rate flat across the board, so we're looking at all that. And according to what the paperwork says, the pavilion has always supposed to be charged, just never has that. So it is listed in there, so that's something that needs to change in order to be able to resolve that issue. But we're looking at how to reprice that and making sure that that gets put in play. And the pavilion is a part of that. One step at a time.
On that note, that was one of the things that I just wanted to bring up. Oh, sorry, Gail, at 6:30. The clubhouse, the RV compound, pool, all of the facilities here, including the pavilion, those are amenities. We've never charged, Brookridge has never charged its residents themselves for amenities. If it's somebody in your home, you don't get charged. If it's a relative of yours or a friend of yours, then they're all charged. When we start charging these clubs $150 to have their pancake breakfast, are we paying, we are charging them for anybody doing pancake breakfast or anything? I was told that we were, but
I think that all of that's been put on hold for society.
okay. I just want to let everyone know that those were always amenities. Amenities are something that we share as residents, that's what we pay our money for. Anybody on the outside, and the same thing with the pavilion. When she asked about the pavilion, when you have their little, when they have, the people get together once a month and they have a snack and chat, I think it's called, we should be paying that because it's this is what we pay for. So I'm just letting you know, just some of the history. I have a couple of things. The roads. We always had, up until 6 years ago, we always had every year a section of roads were done. Our roads are in terrible condition in Unit 4 and Unit 6. They have never been done in the 11 years I've been here. They should have been done about 5 years ago, and that all stopped. So we, as a community with private roads, we are responsible, our board and our general manager is responsible to make sure that our roads are kept in tip-top condition. We should not have roads that have big slits in them. And I'd like to know, you don't have any kids to me today, but just a question I have going forward, when our roads are going to be done. I live on Mariah, and it's not because it's me, but I've been waiting 11 years, and it should have been 5 years ago. Everybody on this side should have had their roads done, not just Brookridge.
I just want to say, everybody hear me? That the roads, from my understanding, roads are supposed to be done every 10 years. So it's not a 6-year thing, it's a 10-year thing. So it's supposed to be on a schedule of, yes, a certain section gets done, and then in 10 years, it comes back around to the very first year. But we know that in the past years, apparently it hasn't.
Last 5 years, 6 years,
Okay.
okay, so that you want to do right now.
I have something, I just want to clear up something that the social media frenzy. There's a frenzy of so many things that is rumored and no one ever comes to try to find out what the truth is. They go to social media, the gurus there. So first of all, any employee who is terminated, it is because of their failure to do their job properly or completely. That is the only reason that anyone would be terminated. As long as an employee is doing what their job description entails and is doing it well, they are appreciated and we hope they stay with Brookridge. Number two, the new employees that have been hired were hired after responding to an ad on Indeed. We have hired the best qualified from the many resumes we received and will continue to do so if needed. Third of all, Jamie has no prior relationship with any of the people that we have hired, nor do any of the board. That rumor is also absolutely false. That's what I have to say.
Okay, and to add to that, what we decided to do when we started looking into, because of the fact that social media seems to be on a frenzy at this point, we're looking into, the board, Brookridge, having their absolute own Facebook page. We're looking at how that's gonna look, where it would be. This will be a page where the facts will be stated, or anything that's going on will be put on there, and there will be no comment allowed on here. If you have a comment, a question, a concern, we all have email addresses that everybody has. You can reach us through the office. I know that Arlene's going to give my phone number out. And I really don't mind. So, but that's one thing that we're looking into. The other thing is that be aware that if you are on social media and you're reading something, you're reading that person's version of whatever they think took place. Were they there? No. The poor little rats crawling in through my house, I'm not sure where that came from, but, and rats following rats, thank you very much. King David, Princess Catherine, I mean, we're watching and monitoring this. There was one rat, it was a dead one, small one, but it still freaked me out. It was on my office step, and we go into my office door to the house. The water was turned on, 2 spigots, back of the house, full, I fell in the back, the grass was wet. I was not paying no attention, I just wanted it off. So that's the truth about what happened. I want people to come to the board, to the people, to the person. It was my house that was violated. It was, there have been several violations. But just get the truth. And we want to make sure that you get that, so we're looking into the Facebook page and working with others that have Facebook pages. So we're trying to get our feedback from them, as well as making sure the attorney is aware that that's what we want to do. And he's saying, well, that's up to you. So I guess we're thinking about doing that. So anyway, any feedback or questions or concerns, please let us all know. Thank you.
Lori Arts on Unit 6. My question is, on the gate, on the roads, since we have this new additional, since we have the new plaza being done, is there any room for any monies that was given to Brookridge that we can put in a visitor lane and a resident lane and actually print that on the roads? Because it's creating, I know we did the arrow thing, by the way, the straight arrow and the turn arrow, because it's going to be a lot of problems with traffic, with people, getting hit because people aren't paying attention, not getting in the right lanes, they're going to rush over. So is there any way that we can put resident lane, visitor lane, and actually print it on the roads? I think that would help coming in. So if that's possible, that would be a suggestion. I think it would help a lot. And also, to Sean over there, is it possible, and this is not related to anything, when we do the meetings, is there any way that we can get a close-up of the board or the people that are speaking on the board members? Because you're so far away when you watch it on YouTube that you can't understand anybody. I know you have problems with the mics, but if you could just do a close-up rather than have it so far away so that we can see the people speaking on the board would help a lot.
Yeah, I was talking to Craig, we were talking about different programs that you can use that will split the screen and stuff like that, so we can set up multiple cameras. Our time has been limited, so we haven't gotten around to doing it, but it is something that we're talking about and we're gonna do.
Understandable, thank you very much.
Hi.
Karen Kessling, Unit 4. I'm here to speak a little bit about the pool as a local person. First of all, I want to thank you for approving the aqua belts and the water mules. Now I would like you to consider letting us have nets on the noodles that are made for the noodles only. If you could consider that, we really appreciate it.
We're actually, hello, we're actually amending it to include the net. But there's many of those. It's gotta be the net that you put on the noodle. It's not the big, they have big fat noodles. So we have to word it so that it unincludes that. It's unserved noodles. Yes. Getting a picture of what it looks like and everything, and we are several people have found out.
Okay, which brings us to another topic, the pool. You guys all can, this is a fact. I hope you can hear me. The health department was called on the pool again. They were down here checking the pool on Monday. They weren't able to get into the pool house, but we're waiting for them to return. I've been told that our pool company has done an amazing job. We get a report Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Please, I know in the past, everybody says we're supposed to have the water line halfway up or 3/4 of the way up or what have you. When you look at that seat that is untrue. The skimmers can't work that way because they're too loaded. The skimmers on the top are only if there are people in the pool. It lifts the water level up and the skimmers will take care of any overflow. That's it. Our pool's chemicals are top notch. The cleaning, the care of them is the best that it has been. And they are doing an amazing job. The tile looks great, and now we're working on power washing the deck, because the deck is gross. So, did I say that out loud? I did. I looked at it, it's pretty bad, but I just want everybody to know, by calling the health department, you took 3 board members off what they were doing. We had to go down, they weren't there, we had to take the key down, they weren't there, they had already left, and we were in the middle of a meeting trying to resolve some issues that are going on. So every time the health department gets called, and they find no fault on our part, that's 7-8 hours out of our time that we have to make sure that X, Y, and Z is done to be able to meet whatever information they need to have. So please, if you have a difficulty, call, email, our ladies down at the front office, let us know before you pick up that phone and call the health department. Because they're like, what is going on here? You get called all the time now. I don't understand. They don't find any validation to them. And now that they know that there's a pool company in here, and we send them the report if they want it, I think if you call the health department on a pool, it needs to go about that day at this point. They're kind of listening to all these different calls. So anyway, that's my name.
Good information, by the way.
So I just 2 more things.
Number one, there was a meeting, somebody could, well, let me ask you this question, another question first. My husband and I were coming by this morning, and there was a man, at the new retention pond outside of Brookridge, and he was doing some, he was just doing some stuff, they have metal poles up. He told us that they were gonna be changing the fence up with the green stuff, the green product around it. So that's what we're gonna be looking at, people will be doing, not a pretty place. The other thing is, he told him, and it's something I want the board to find out, he said that they are going to close off, so that workers cannot take the left. We're gonna have to go all the way around to Road Road. So if the board, because I know you have the people that's what the worker told us. He said, I'm just a worker, this is what I'm told I have to do. So I'm just asking the question, if you could find out and then just report, because that's what this particular worker told us. Okay, if you could we just found out about it just now. And the other thing is, detention ponds.
I know, but that's why I'm here, I'm asking you directly, because I don't do the social media thing. I don't do the social media thing. The other thing, the retention funds, I have a question. Was there a question about who was doing the retention funds on the golf course?
I believe that this is the only thing that I can respond to that. David and I have an appointment on the 10th, we will be discussing the golf course.
Okay, I just wanted,
I want to speak to them.
okay, that's okay. But just as somebody who's been here a long time, the reason why we always did the retention funds on the golf course is because the golf course was here before the houses. And if houses went in, Brookridge has said, you will take care of the retention funds. So that is why we've done the retention funds for the last 25, 30 years. So, I should say 45 years, I'm sorry. So I just want you to be aware of that going into that, because new people might not even realize that. But in the history of Brookridge, that is the history of Brookridge. I just wanted to.
Thank you.
Hey, Barbara, for the pool. It's Melody, the other one. Are we gonna get more chairs?
For what?
For the pool.
No,
Because we're gonna have chairs.
we are.
It seems like we are, kind of several growing.
I mean, we're out there, I'm not. Those chairs out there, to my knowledge, is Jim right there gonna get them. I can't hear me anyway, but we'll get to us later. Jim, this young lady is asking a question about getting more pool chairs. You have a broken one out there.
And if they break,
It doesn't work. You gotta put it way up to your floor.
the PVC, very solid line, they do break, and they break, I put them away. Now, I repair, when we do repair them, we do repair them. Sometimes I glue with good glue. We put straps on them.
We have to be able to hear you. Yeah, that one works, there you go. Thank you. That one doesn't work either.
Alright, okay, so we do need new chairs. They're expensive. I try, that's why I don't let people move my lounges to make a break. We're just really good about it now. But, yeah, we are short of lounges. We've got 6 new ones. They're out there, they're great. They're old, some of them old for breaking. That's up to you guys. Yeah, that's all. Yeah. Yeah, right now we have 19 lounges.
Do you have any idea what restrictions on it? Is there not really good for? Not restrictions on the
They are high quality. But we get a lot of people that want to play every day. Every single day.
I just wonder if you guys can kind of look at it, the ones that have higher rate capacity and start replacing.
And we have got new chairs, it's not like we don't get new chairs.
Yeah, you're replacing with the same type.
It's so much to replace all of that.
But
When we
then
replace them,
PVC is brittle,
and it's a cycle.
and all that, PVC is brittle.
Yeah, you're gonna fix it. I tried to, it was too loud earlier, and I tried to turn it down. I might have turned that one too far down.
Yeah. Still water, before. Want to go back a little history, because I came out incorrect. History. When COVID came, things changed about the outgoing gates, because at one point, any vendor would get a card coming in. Going out, they would have to return that stopped because of COVID. Nobody wanted to touch things. So is that something that would be considered? Other than that, if the gates are down going out, you're gonna have a manpower to open them. And you're not gonna check who's leaving because there's no reason to check them. They've been checked going in. So just think on that one. Thank you.
Testing.
Hello. Just a question. I'm Larry Trudeau, Unit 3. Is there going to be a rear gate, a secondary gate for residents?
They're doing.
Hello? Oh, thank you. The secondary gate part, I know that there has been talk about it for quite some time. I did find out yesterday, the GM let me know that, they had spoken with Kevin, which is the development manager, or whatever you call him over there at the development. I know that their work order has been lifted because they met all the requirements to their good neighbor piece, and I know they're back to work over there. The secondary gate, what they're doing right now is a master plan. The engineers are working on a master plan. You have to have, as many as you want to put in there, but you have to have them put in there in order for them to be able to come out. I just got the names and phone numbers last week of 2 that I will be addressing, because they're the ones that will come out and take a look at the extended property to see what's the best solution. But instead of putting another gate in the front half, the people in the back half have been told that it would be a back gate. And so that's what we're looking for. We're looking at options that are out on the back part.
On Adolph? You're talking about on
I don't-
Adolph?
I don't believe that Adolph is going to be an option. I believe that we were told that that isn't an option. So, but we're still going to put it on there just in case. But I believe it will be down further.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it'll be, I imagine, a sliding gate, so to eliminate
Yes, if
pedestrian.
anybody's been to one of the other parks in the area, they have beautiful wrought iron gates that are absolutely gorgeous. When you go up, you put your code in, or you flap your bar, whatever it is. And then that side opens. And then once that's done, you come in, you're done. And then it slides back over, and then the other side gets theirs. There are several different things that we can look at, and we can talk about them when we get to that point, but it has to be on the site plan first.
Well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Janice Quinn, Unit 4. I have a question about what code enforcement does. Along with that, if you ride through our park, lately, it's terrible. It's not kept up. The islands aren't mowed. The retention ponds are not being mowed. I live across from one, so I know that it was mowed every 30 days. That's not happening. Along with, I have put in a request for a person on Diablo who lives on my street. And I'm not talking about somebody who is living and taking care of their property. I'm talking about somebody who is relatively healthy, and it has debris everywhere, let alone tire changing equipment. That's just how do we get it fixed? I mean, it's contagious because, there's also an elder gentleman who has an old car covered in a boat and all those things in his yard. We don't want to look like that. I mean, I understand there are people who have a hard time taking care of their property and for whatever reason, but it's ridiculous. Yeah, I don't understand why we either can't get something done. I would assume it's under code enforcement, and it's not just me. You ride around on a golf course, it's on every street. And the longer nobody says anything about it, the worse it gets. And, I didn't move here to be in, an area that's not kept up. And it just seems to me that it's an easy fix, along with, do we have an aging report of people who aren't paying their bill on a monthly basis? Are we knocking on the door to get money? Do we have a program in which they can have it direct deposited? And that leads to the management company in the front end where, we don't have an accounting system. And any management company is going to want us to put together numbers to give to them. And if we choose to let them go, we have no software, no anything to back it up with. it's just simple, you know, I mean, get an accounting system, get a consultant in to set the front end up, so we know how much money we have, and not being able to ask how much money we have in a meeting, which was spoke about last month, that we have to go down and get it time-stamped and dated and what have you. It's just bull copy. I mean, you know, we come to this meeting, it's our money, you know, instead of printing out ballots that are, look like we're going to Cinderella's ball every year.
Okay, so let me just, I want to address the fact that you think that we should, I do know that we have, Vivian resigned down front. I know that that was done in an email, and everybody by word of mouth hopefully is aware of that. Vivian, our bookkeeper, she resigned. So therefore, there isn't a bookkeeper down there, but what we have done is we've placed an ad on Indeed. We're looking for a qualified accountant, a qualified bookkeeper, licensed, in order to be, and as far as I know, we have 11. It could be up by then. It's like off the charts by now. So we're weeding through those. Jane has been wonderful weeding through them. And we're gonna put somebody into that front office that will be able to take care of the books.
We don't have an infrastructure to support them.
An infrastructure?
Accounting package, people who actually know how to use it, computers and a lot of people.
If you have a qualified bookkeeper, you're gonna have all of those things. We have QuickBooks in there right now, and QuickBooks, just like any.
QuickBooks was out, and we were getting a management company, and it didn't work, and it didn't supply.
It's not a management company. We were looking at a finance company, and that's something that will be addressed at the board meeting. But as far as the accounting person, the bookkeeper, we're going to do those interviews and get someone in here expeditedly so that we can ensure that those books are up. But I can assure you that everything is where it needs to be right now. The ACHs are taking place.
I've been here 3 years. I've never been able to see a financial statement that was halfway.
I would strongly suggest that you contact that man right there behind you, Jerry Foster. He's the treasurer. He has a finance, he sits down with me and we go over the financial piece, and he's got it all. The only thing is, what they want to hear when we get up here is the totals. That's what most people want to hear, the totals.
I want to know what was spent on.
Then I strongly suggest calling Jerry, because he can help you out with that.
But I shouldn't have to call Jerry, it should be just on an annual meeting basis, that we get a piece of paper that says, here's what's going on. Here's our agent report, here's our spending report, here's our,
Okay, so I'll work with Jerry. I know that you can go up to the office, request those, and you can get them anytime you'd like them. They're all right there.
Get information on the diameter of the needle, and I'm not saying that that is not needed or whatever, but when you put more concentration on a needle that can go in a hole, like, really cares.
Well, I'll tell you, for the ladies that left here, very happy care.
I'm not saying that it's not important.
Right.
What I am saying is, how much money we spend and how much money we have versus the size and diameter of my needle. I'm cool with the money myself, you know?
Okay, and that's fair.
I'm
Thank you very much.
Disregarding someone's interest in the pool.
Right.
Yeah, you got that answer.
Jerry has those answers for you whenever you would like them. They're right at the front office. Thank you.
Nancy LaShera, Unit 1. Okay, I have one question again. Why are we not getting the medians and all them mowed? It looks bad. Looks bad.
Okay, I'm gonna speak to that. I don't know why this, are we working? No, we ain't working. Do I need to?
Hello. Oh, there we are. We're back again. The lawn's being mowed. Please be patient. We put an ad out to have lawn care providers, landscaping companies give us bids. They all were in excess of $180,000 a year. Okay. So what we did was we decided we're hiring 2 part-time. Then Jamie went out sick. I don't know when Jamie will be back, but when she gets back, she has a slew of interviews to do in order to be able to get landscapers, lawnmowers. We're hiring 2 seasonal people. These guys have got it on their listing now.
Well,
and what they're
Monday,
trying
we
to
just
do-
went out, just so you know, Monday, we just went out and mowed almost the entire golf course, which we weren't supposed to do, which I found out today.
Correct.
And then we just mowed Misty Ponds. Nancy, we did the place, we did by your house. I did behind your house yesterday. We did Misty right next door. We did a bunch of ponds in the back. So we did a lot. We did about 20 ponds in 20 areas yesterday.
That sounds
Monday,
okay, but remember,
Monday.
these guys, and I didn't realize they were doing the golf course.
Yeah,
So,
if we didn't do the golf course and all the ponds we did on the golf course, we probably would have had the whole community mowed.
correct. So now they know not to do that until after the meeting on the 10th. So they're gonna be running around in between everything else they're doing, thank you, Sean. Right, in order to be able to take care of that. But remember, although they're busy, I mean, they'll come, I guess, when we ask them and give updates as you guys would like them,
Yeah.
okay? Perfect. Just remember, they have a schedule that they.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we get on it.
Hello, I'm Paula Ahern, Unit 6. I have a really quick question. I play pickleball. Can I get into the pickleball court at 7:30? I used to have a key. I set it up for people that start at 8. My husband and I, during the summertime, on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, we we walk our dog, we go in there, 7:30. This morning, I was on vacation. I came back and it was locked. I could not, the lock has been changed. So how can we get into the pickleball courts at 7:30?
So as far as I know, the courts, when somebody comes in here, they open up that in the morning. They get here at 8 o'clock. It's open up at 8 o'clock, and then I guess they close it down sometime, I don't know, at night.
Well,
At 9 o'clock. So I mean,
last year I had a key to a lock that I paid $4 for, so I could do this function for the pickleball people.
so what you need to do when Jamie gets back, she's sick right now. She probably won't be back till next week. When she gets back, you can speak with her about
clubhouse
getting a key.
manager.
And then you can speak to her about getting a key. Or we can start opening it up for you if she doesn't want to do that. We, as maintenance guys, get here at 7 in the morning, so we can open it up at 7 if we had to.
7:30 would be fantastic. I'm good with that. As long as I can get in there, I'm good to go.
Yeah, we got to come up here to punch in anyway. Not one of us to walk over there and open the gate.
All right, well, a kind gentleman did help me this morning, which was very nice.
So there you go.
Thank you so much.
Terry Johnson, Unit 1. Catherine. I have never seen this much dissatisfaction with the board, on Facebook, on all the media. There's a lot of complaints. A lot of complaints.
You know, there's certain people driving. There's certain people that are pushing, making up some of the rumors to get everybody stirred up.
Okay, but still, it hasn't been this bad before.
Because we're implementing rules that should always have been there. They've always been in place, they've just never been abided by. Now we're making people follow rules, show pool passes, things like that, and change is a terrible thing. The kitchen, it's all these changes, and I know there's been a lot of change at once.
So, you gonna keep on doing it? Piss people off? Maintain?
I believe that. Hello. I believe that we're gonna keep on doing it. I believe that, just like with the kitchen, I believe the kitchen is running better now. It's more efficient, it's healthier, we don't have rats floating through there. I think that's a better thing. Every time we make something better, we've stirred a pot that people don't like because nobody likes change. I don't like change, but I'm gonna keep doing it, just like the rest of the board members. They're all on board with making these changes because we're doing it for the better health. Just like the pool. Pool companies in here now, they are licensed, bonded, insured. If anything goes wrong with that pool, anytime, we picked it up on a holiday weekend, the phone. There was a problem, somebody called the health department, we all were out there. We were making sure the pool was safe. The pool was safe, cleared, and it was another rumor that got started. Then we had somebody shutting off machinery out there. The pool company is not responsible for that, but we rectified that by getting in that door, turning it back on, ensuring the chemicals were right. I don't want flesh falling off people's skin. So we changed the way that things are done. Are they enjoying that? No, because now they can't get into that pump house. You know, they don't need to be in there. Our pool company comes in Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and if there's an issue, if they give us a clean report, I say swim. Enjoy it. Stop muddying the waters by stirring the pot. Don't call the health department and have them come out here and say, I don't know what's wrong, everything is perfect. Well, you got to call, you have to follow up on that.
Well, some of my things is we don't have much of a say-so.
You have a say-so. We're right here at this town hall listening to all of you and answering any questions that you have.
When you hired a pool company, was that talked about?
Absolutely. We talked about it at several meetings.
Was it voted on?
By us, yes, it was. Did we ask you guys your opinion? I don't remember anybody standing up and saying, no, we don't want a pool company coming in to make sure that we are safe. I don't remember that happening. But if it did, it was a minority. The thing is that I'm not going to apologize, and I don't think the board members will, for trying to make things better. I don't believe that any action that we have taken has made things worse here. I believe it's made it better. Are we suffering because of that? Yes. I can't sit down in that chair because my hip is still off the charts from falling. But am I still going? Yes, I am. All of us have been targeted in one form or another. King David, Princess Catherine, every one of us have been targeted. So now we'll do a Facebook page and ensure that the truth is out there so the pot won't be stirred, hopefully.
I don't think it's working. But anyway, another question I have is, does all residents have access to this meeting?
Yes, right there. See, poor Sean, he's in here today. He's sitting out there mowing everybody, I'll have you know. He's
Even
right
if you're
there
a
helping
renter,
us out to make sure
even
you
if you're a
matter.
renter, as long as you're a resident, you have access to this in the BCPO meeting.
To you, YouTube, we can't control who goes on YouTube. It is open access to people in Norway, for goodness sakes. I mean, anybody can access this meeting.
Okay, anybody can speak.
Anybody can speak. You're right there.
Well, I hope things get better.
I believe that they are, Terry. I do.
What is one of, at least just one, of the complaints that you yourself would have?
My thing is transparency. When you said we couldn't ask any financial questions to you guys, we have to go through the office with paperwork, and we get paperwork back that is to the public, it's just one-on-one. That's not transparency.
I understand your point about that. Maybe we need to revisit that. What we are supposed to do is be putting it on our page, on our website. We're supposed to be putting the financial information on there, which Arlene, Arlene has the information, but then she has to give it to another person that runs the website. And there's a little miscommunication or something there because she's given the information, but it's not on the website, and that's gone back and forth. We're trying to remedy that.
Talking about the website we're gonna do for the community. Is Jerry Kraft gonna run that too?
No, this will be a Facebook page, not actually a website, but a Facebook page.
Thank you.
And I need to just say that the Facebook page, if it's factual, it has to be run by a board member and monitored by all of us. So I want everybody to be rest assured that that's not going to take place.
Jared Kraft, Unit 1.
I don't run any websites for Brookridge. No, the website, no, I do not. The website that I run is mine, it's unofficial, and there's disclaimers all over the place. I have nothing to do. Just like the other websites, they post things that come on the email, all of them do. I don't have anything to do with that. And if you read it, it's there. I just want to say, it was my understanding with that bit about at a board meeting, if you have questions, finances, it's always been, it's in 720s, put it in writing. I never heard the board say, and that wasn't our intent with the rule, you can't ask questions. It was when you go up and people come up and they say, I want to know right now. And the board says, we don't have it. It's in 720, read it. It says how to get the information. The other thing I gotta say, Facebook, I'm sorry, but I feel like it's angry, it's hateful. I'm curious, my question is, when people call on the pool company comes out, do we have to pay extra for that? If they're,
So far, no.
okay. All of these calls people are making, is it costing us money? Okay, so we're paying money because people are angry. Brookridge is all paying because somebody's angry. We've got to stop this. I'm not saying people are right or wrong. I wasn't there, I don't know, it's not my business, but my point is if we want this community to thrive, we cannot concentrate on the negativity. We have to all work together with our differences. And that's all I have to say.
Anybody else?
You want to?
Anybody else? Going once, twice, we're done. I was, 11:49. Oh, I'm making a motion that at 11:49, we adjourn this town hall. All those in favor? Aye. Thank you, everyone.